Morning, guys. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters and the Pathfinder School down here at the Pathfinder Outdoor Classroom in the community fire pit area of the classroom here at the Pathfinder School in Southeast Ohio. If you're interested in taking classes with us, either on survival, bushcraft, lots of other peripheral skills like ropes and rigging, intensive navigation, fire mastery, plants, medicinal, edible plants, things like that, you can check that out on our website at selfrelianceoutfitters.com under the training tab. We've got some special pricing coming up for Black Friday on some of our classes. You may want to check that out. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to make some camp bread in a tilted skillet. So I'm going to show you how to go through that real quick and how I set that up. We're going to use a stainless steel skillet basically as a mixing bowl. And we're going to use our carbon steel skillet to cook the bread in front of the fire. We've got a container of self-rising flour. We've got some salt. We have some brown sugar. And we have some lard. Generally, you could just cook bacon grease and use that grease, but we're going to use the lard today, so we don't have to cook the bacon ahead of time. If I were making this in the morning at camp, I'd cook the bacon first, and then I would make the bread as the bacon was cooking and use that grease. We're working out of the Pathfinder Rambler Edition pack today, and these side pockets are built specifically for things like a full double canteen set where you can put the cups on the top and the bottom at the same time to have two different variations of the cup, one for a pot to cook with, one for a cup to drink out of. And it's got a specially built pouch on the front here that's sized for the carbon steel or stainless steel skillet. Either one will fit in this pouch, and I'm working on another accessory to go in that pouch at the moment that we'll talk about in the future. For now, let's make some camp bread. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is I've got the bottom of this thing greased, but that's just because I put it away that way. It's not necessary for this, all right? Now, I'm not real good at exact measurements, so you're kind of gonna have to follow with me here and get what you get. And this container will hold about 2 cups up to here of self-rising flour. So I'm gonna start with about a cup of that flour and just kind of measure that I've got about half of it gone. That's about right, okay? So I'm just kind of guesstimating there. Now I'm going to cut some lard into this. So I'm going to grab my spoon here, and I'm going to take about a tablespoon of lard and push that in. Okay, just like that. We use this excess lard later that's on the spoon. Have no fear of that. Nothing goes to waste, for sure. And now we're just going to kind of take this and move it around the flour and kind of start cutting it into the flour a little bit. And we just want to cut that lard in until we don't have a whole lot of lumps in it, really. A fork works really well for this. If you're carrying a full-on cook set and you've got some kind of a pastry cutter, that'll work fine too. But in camp, quick and dirty, a fork will do the job for sure. And just keep moving flour around to get it in there. Now, once we've got most of that lard cut into our flour, and this is just going to make it good and fluffy, we're going to add about a 4-finger pinch here of brown sugar and maybe just a little bit more. Then we're going to take some sea salt here and add about a 3-finger pinch to that and a little bit more. Now we're going to mix all of that up really good. Okay, now, once we get that, we need to start adding water. Be careful adding water. If you add too much at one time, you're gonna have a problem. You're trying to make a dough here. If you add too much water, you can always add a little bit of flour to it to soak up some of that water. But the key is really to just keep cutting that in until you end up with a ball of dough in this skillet that's not damp. Again, things like pastry cutters make this really easy, but we can just as easily do it with a fork. You can see how flaky that and loose that looks. That's good. I like that. A little bit more water. Again, a little at a time. Don't get crazy with that water. The secret here is to get all this flour in the dough so you don't have a bunch of dry mix sitting there. On the bottom, everything is a wet mix. That is looking real good, real good. You can see that most of our dry stuff is off the bottom of the skillet, which is what we want. And we kind of want that thing rolling around in there, not really sticking to the skillet too bad. All right. And we'll just kind of roll it into a ball for a minute and we'll set it aside and we'll get ready to start cooking. Okay. All right, the next step in this game is to grease the skillet up really good. And we can do that with our hands, or we can do it with a rag. Doesn't really matter. And this is just going to help this lard soak into the bread. Again, bacon grease makes that stuff taste really good. But it also will allow us to flip this bread when one side's brown, get both sides cooked evenly. That's important with this, okay? Once you get that done, you got that evenly greased pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's good enough. All right, now we're gonna take our bread dough here. And we're gonna slap that bad boy in here and spread it out. And we're gonna fill the bottom of that skillet with it in an even layer. So if your hands start sticking to this a little bit, just dip your fingers in flour, push up against the edges, get it nice and even. That's what we're really looking for, as an even thickness on this bread. All right, so we've got a couple of wooden blocks right here. The name of the game now is to stand this skillet up right here in front of the fire and get that fire where we need it. Right here in front of the bread, just like this. So we're gonna scoop up some hot coals here. Kind of put them right here in the front. And we'll kind of transfer things a little at a time here to the front of that. Get some of these smaller pieces of wood that aren't burnt yet. Put them in there, just like that. Now you're going to want to rotate this skillet. You can see the bread sliding the skillet a little bit. That's a good thing. I mean, it's not sticking. And it's stopped there at the bottom because it's on angle. But you're going to want to rotate that for even cooking. And you can just rotate it from one side to the other and then to the top and not worry too much about it. And you'll get what you need to get. When this side turns brown, we'll flip the whole thing over and cook that as well. Got our fire right in front of it here. We've got a couple logs sitting there that it's stooped up against. You can see it's starting to get brown down there on the bottom. I was trying to rotate that bad boy. So we'll just take that dude and just ride him right over the top just like this and flip him over just like that. Okay. All right, you can see that thing's getting nice and brown now. Start to crack there on the side. Perfect. I'm going to flip that dude over here in about the next minute to 2 minutes. That stuff is real close to being done now. Almost there. A couple more minutes. Cut her open and see what we got. All right, reach over here and grab this bad boy up the fire. Handle's not hot at all. Cooked bread in this skillet and that handle's not hot. I can grab that thing barehanded, no problem, okay? And that skillet's still very, very warm. You can see that thing is absolutely non-stick and ready to rock. Let's see what we got going on here. We can just bust that thing open. It's so flaky. It's like a biscuit. Look at that thing. We don't even need a knife for that. Look at that thing. Just breaks apart in layers. That thing is beautiful. Man, oh man. Well, fellas, there really ain't nothing left on this but the taste test. And I already know what it's going to taste like. It's awesome. For sure. Man. That is perfect. Wouldn't think it'd be better if this thing was sopping up some egg yellows, boy. Man. Very, very good camp bread recipe. Wow. I don't know where Zon's at today, but he's missing out. Must be out hunting. Good bread. Great bread. Now when I'm done here, all I'm gonna do is wipe this out. I am not gonna wash it at all. I'm just gonna wipe it off. Hold the handle up on this bad boy. Put it right back in the bag with the accessories I keep inside it for my canteen. Slide that bad boy right in that tack survival pouch that we sell on our website with the skillet. Tie that dude up and call it good. Get it right back in that Duluth pack, ready for the next time. Guys, listen, I appreciate you joining me out here today for this quick video on how to make tilted pan camp bread. It's a great recipe. It's fantastic bread. It's easy to make. Doesn't take a lot of ingredients. And cooking in camp, actually making things from scratch and not just bringing stuff in to cook in a bag or in a cooler or whatever the case may be, is definitely a skill that you need to learn, and you will definitely enjoy it while you do it. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, and for our business. All of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving weekend, and we appreciate everything you do for us, and we are very blessed. I'll be back with a new video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.